Ladies and gentlemen, we are Wiki After Dark.
Wiki, wiki, wiki.
Joshua Pallad, Kevin Sanchez, and Jonathan Kaplan. I think I remembered everybody's names.
I mean, yeah.
I think I got it. Cool.
We got to start coming up with nicknames for each other.
Yeah.
You know what? For the people that are listening, berate us or
Yeah.
love us, but come up with a nickname.
Yeah, come up with a nickname or anything else that you think about this show. Like back in the day, I'm going to start asking for comments at every dull moment. But now that the show's on YouTube, it's going to make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Also, if you didn't notice, you can see all of us now.
Yeah. It's a little surprise that we called listening to the fans and saying that why are we doing it in the other Zoom way? I never realized that, the people who make Zoom figured out that this was good before we even saw Zoom. You know what I mean? Because I bet you that it was the Switch version for a long time. And then people were like, no, like change it this way. And they were like, so like before it got popular, pretty much the exact same thing I said 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. Today, I got to choose a topic.
That's right.
Of what we discuss. And for Wiki After Dark. And I chose the great L. Ron Hubbard's masterpiece, Scientology.
That's right. We chose L. Ron Hubbard's Scientology, which is actually a book called Dianetics. And I'm going to take that skit on the floor as actually like a laugh moment. That's something that we said was funny in that moment.
But that was the spirit of L. Ron.
Yeah, he was the spirit.
Yeah, a loud screeching noise that for some reason just echoes.
Damn.
Decades and decades.
I'll tell you, I did not know shit about L. Ron Hubbard that much. I knew that Scientology was bad. No, yeah, for sure. Like I knew Scientology was bad from years ago, from like 20 years ago, because I think kind of for a long time, something to talk about when there was nothing to talk about with people was how bad Scientology was and how nobody was talking about it.
Now, check this out. So Bill Burr, the great Bill Burr, has a great bit about religion. And he talked about Scientology. And,
that's right. Yeah.
And and it goes something like, because he made me question my religion and stuff by saying this bit. He goes, I'm gonna fuck it up, but he goes, I saw Getting Clear. I saw the doc Get Clear.
That we just saw.
The one that we just saw.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the research we did, by the way. We didn't look up anything about Scientology except for the documentary Going Clear. And since Kevin picked the topic, I, taking Kevin's role, only watched like 35% of it.
So I'm watching, Burr goes, he goes, I'm listening to this shit. And I'm like, this is so fucking retarded.
Yeah.
You can't even hide it in the mystery of it happening 1,000 years ago. Jesus, can you stay the fuck still?
Hold on a second. Josh, let's stop the show for a second. Josh, what the fuck is going on? What just
Alexa, off.
I mean, you are something else.
Wow, and thank you for never doing that during any of my topics. I actually, you know what, Josh, I'm not mad at you. I like what you did. Leave Alexa on. Alexa, turn yourself on. And you can continue interrupting Kevin's show, but don't you ever do that when I'm in charge.
Well, first of all,
take off your glasses, Caps. Take off your fucking glasses.
No, let him do it. He's getting a glasses moment. He's allowed to have one.
That means you got to take yours off.
Fine.
I speak on behalf of myself and all of my thetans. Yes. There's many of us here. Guys, are you with me or what?
Is this what your Zoom comments are like?
Yeah, no, he's talking about us.
Back my glasses.
Yes, the skinny one on the screen. All right. We're not going to be intimidated by you, okay, Mr. Jonathan Kaplan? We know all of your sexual secrets. We know about you and your. Oh shit! You're gonna have to erase that part. Sorry.
Yeah.
Get the glasses.
Yeah,
That was my theme.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Wow.
Cap.
You know what?
Hey,
You know what I
Cap,
tell you this? Divulging your personal, making your friend say their most personal secrets, recording it, and then using it against them sounds like a podcast I've heard of called the Low End Gigolos. That has also been compared to a cult.
That was my feet, and I apologize.
oh my God, you just proved, Josh Palin, you just proved to me how strong Scientology is. Like, we're obviously bleeping whatever Josh just said out, but that's how, you know what it was, Josh? Yeah. One, you put on the glasses, you felt power you never felt before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But two, you were influenced by the documentary you just saw, and it just came out of you, dude.
And possibly influenced by the Thetans. Like, how would he know to pull such a scumbag move like that without the help of many thousands of Thetans?
No, I am trying to get rid of that.
So this is the let me finish.
Let me just say that me and all 12 of the Thetans inside of me voted for Joe Biden.
let me finish this Bill Burr thing, because I
yes, please continue stealing the Bill Burr bit.
I'm not stealing. I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know. So Bill Burr goes, and this is what made me want to look into Scientology for a while, but I just too lazy.
Yeah.
He goes, I thought that shit was stupid because you couldn't hide the mystery. The guy was alive. He was on a fucking boat. He was wearing sneakers. He's talking about spaceships. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. While simultaneously believing there was a girl who never got fucked that got pregnant, and this little baby started moonwalking across water.
God, is that?
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
And
that is a good punchline. You got to admit.
I mean, but it made me feel like, holy shit, I did believe that for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, like, did I have my doubts? Yes. But was I like, man, yeah, my guy walked on water, dude. He turned water into wine. He took bread and fed 90,000 dudes. You know.
Well, let me ask you, who was he talking to when he would talk to his father?
Wait a second. Wait, what did you just stop the momentum of the show for, John?
I'm asking Kevin who Jesus was, the guy who was walking on water, who he was talking to.
I'm confused. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I don't understand.
Who was Jesus communicating with?
I choose not to join in on this
theological debate.
This Jewish sidebar that you decided to inject the show with.
First of all, Your Honor, I'd like to dispose the audience for a second to discuss the religious fundamentalism and the discrimination coming part from Mr. Kaplan.
I just, I mean, guys, Jonathan Kaplan.
Yes.
Did you only see 35% of this?
No, I did try to watch. I tried to skim through. So what I got was L. Ron Hubbard was what I got. My information tells me that L. Ron Hubbard was a sick science fiction writer, but he was also clearly a psychopath. And he was able to slide into the golden age of American cults because
people were stupid back then.
No, also there are so many more cults in America besides Scientology. It's like it's a fertile breeding ground. In fact, I would say that almost at the core of every major company is cult-like allegiance. I've been to
the only way it works.
Yeah, I've been to like plenty of national sales meetings that I was a photographer at, and I've been to rallies that look exactly like the gala that they keep shooting. I mean, hundreds of times when I've flown all over to Germany and stuff, the fucking energy of the room and all like the rah for your company is
for nonsense
like that. Yeah.
I've only been to like ones that bombed.
Wow.
Yeah,
You've never seen a corporate guy just rock for like doing nothing?
Not like that. Not rock the crowd like that. I've only seen guys who thought they were the shit and like legit before I knew what bombing was. This guy. And I'm looking around, people are trying to be polite.
But the thing about it is when you're in those, because I used to shoot the CEO and all the executive board of Henry Schein used to go around the world to do it. And it would always be this one guy speaking. And honestly, I don't
Ron Hubbard.
No. and I don't even think that this guy's a bad guy. Like
Elron?
No, not Elron, the
Oh.
CEO that I used to work for.
Okay.
But like, here's the thing that connects it. Like the way that people, regular folk, stop what they're doing in their like with all their friends from work, and they like start cheering like crazy for this 80-something-year-old man, and they give him like the clout of like, oh my god, you're a fucking, like, it's like that is the same, like
Is this
putting
in
it,
Germany?
you're putting it on to yourself, you know.
Is this
Yeah.
in Germany or is this? Oh, this is your company.
This is the company I used to work for. Yeah.
And they
all
really,
around
they really reacted that way.
they kind of did. It's like you can see where people start to wear it. Like it's like, you know, you're doing it for your job, you're doing it for your company.
This is why countries like Russia and China look
and
at us.
and Korea, so, North Korea, like holy shit.
No. See, in totalitarian countries, in communist countries, they don't have cults like that because they get suppressed and destroyed.
No, the whole
So,
country is a cult.
The cults is a byproduct of freedom. Freedom is freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, which is what this country is created off of. And it's a double-edged sword. It leads to things like cults. It leads to things like, you know, megalomaniacs and people, you know, influencing hordes of other people, because it's the natural human condition to seek some sort of team, to seek some sort of cause, to seek some sort of rationale, to try to understand the world that they live in. And when our enemies see this, who, you know, don't have freedom, they see the American populace as weak, and they see it.
When we watched this doc, did you really like? I feel like a lot of these people were just looking for answers. You know,
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
looking for like.
But that's most human beings.
Yeah, that's most.
No, but there's like a certain amount of real, like, I think sort of tragic lost people. Like I see some of the people as lost souls. Like here's one thing that I related to in the documentary. When I was 24 years old, I was trying to, like, my band had broken up, which was a big like thing of my young life.
You were in a band?
You know, we have to do an episode on it for sure. But yeah, and like after that, like I was not working in graphic design, like I hadn't figured out what I was doing, and I was lost. I was like really sort of lost in like my early 20s. And I got this idea that I don't even know where the idea came from, but I was like, I want to go teach English in Honduras. I had this idea, right? So like, I mean, it was like 2003, 2004. So I was like looking up on the old school internet, like trying to find like agencies that did it. And my mom was just like, are you fucking stupid? Like, you're going to go down to like, what? You're going to get killed by the cartel. Like, why would you go and do something like that? And that's my mom, who's from Honduras. She's like, that's the dumbest shit of all time.
Well, she still owes them money, that fucking puta.
But the thing about it is like the people who went to go on the boat trip, like the sea voyage thing with Scientology, I feel like I felt like as desperate as that in that
Can I
moment.
tell you something? So I thought as soon as I saw that, I said, Josh, by the way, this is the moment where you and I are on this boat. Me and you would have joined Scientology, 100%, right? And then we would have been on this boat scraping, watching this asshole smoke a cigarette.
I start telling stories about the cosmos.
And they were like, hey, what the fuck are you talking about, guy? And then walk off the boat. That would have been like just seeing him smoking a cigarette in the middle of the day and watching us work would have infuriated me beyond belief.
Well,
one thing that I thought was funny about Scientology is like this guy was such a maniac even before he started Scientology. Like when he was in the war, when he was not in the war, when he was in the army, and he was
shooting at logs.
He was literally like using the entire amount of the ship's artillery to like just shoot at nothing and like just exploding stuff all over the place.
Yeah, he's awesome, bro.
To his defense,
Honestly,
a lot of guys would have done that.
the dude fails as someone to look up to, but as someone who's lived their life, he gets a fucking A+, man.
No, Kevin, Kevin, you never partied that hard in the army.
And I always wish I did.
Yeah, dude. So,
I
he
always
was-
wish I did.
he was
David,
a true legend for that.
Kevin also lost his eyesight in the military.
Yo, but you know what I really noticed about L. Ron Hubbard more than anything was how fucked up his bottom row of teeth were.
Yes. Yes. I told Kevin, I was like, there's no way God would have brown bottom row of teeth.
What a disgusting monster. I was like, these women who are like,
Ugh.
just like giving up their whole entire lives
Yeah.
for him. It just goes to show that the 70s, when you look back at the 70s, 60s, late 60s, 70s, everybody is filled with a layer of grime that's unacceptable now.
Yeah. Lucky them, man.
L. Ron did do something interesting to me. He did try to get a guy to kill him.
Yes.
He did try to get a guy. You might have skipped over this. He tried to get one of the guys. He goes to him. By the way, he believes his religion.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Either truly insane person or psychopath.
As a psychopath. Like, he goes to this guy. He goes, hey, listen, I have an impurity I can't get rid of.
Oh, yes.
So what I need you to do is,
he wants to blow the thetan out of him.
I want you to blow the thetan, and the only way to do that is to burn my body, electrocute my body to death.
Yes.
And then my soul will go into somebody else's, and I can live on, but I can't do it.
Yeah, but you'll loosen the thetan that's been attached to me.
Yes. So, and I was like, guys, it is interesting. That's either guilt, like, holy shit, none of this. Because I really believe that he was trying to find, like, maybe he had schizophrenia or borderline personality disorder or something of that sort.
No, all he had done, this guy, he was an incredible inventor. What he did was he invented this electric tubes, these like two toilet bowl, like what the hell are these things? These two like dildo slots.
Yeah.
And it like connected to like a little like electrometer, and if you use it correctly, it'll tell you whether the person holding it is a moron who you can steal all the money.
You know,
and then, by the way, I have a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but wait, don't skip over this. So the guy, John, he didn't want to kill L. Ron Hubbard. So what he did was he looked into his, information he knew about electronics and stuff, and he's like, oh, I'm going to build a Tesla coil. And he built a Tesla coil type thing that basically like would blow up but not kill L. Ron Hubbard. And L. Ron Hubbard blew himself up with his thetan measuring device.
Respect.
And probably further believing that whatever's inside him,
yeah,
it's stronger.
Yo, imagine.
He solidified his belief.
The thing about it is it's either a belief or it's like never letting go of a bit, like just committing to a bit so hard that it gets way out of control beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, he's like, what's his name? The guy who gave himself cancer and died.
Kaufman?
Yeah, Andy Kaufman. Or,
I mean, yo, Josh, were you telling me that Del Close actually knew L. Ron Hubbard?
Yes.
You told me this, right?
Yes, and
Who's
he
that?
got the idea of making improv off of L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, for sure.
What?
Yes, I think this is true, or I'm just yes-anding it from Josh, but I heard that.
But if it proves evident to itself that it's true by yes and.
By yes and also, I have at least 12 thetans who can corroborate the story.
I think if anything, what this Scientology has done is prove that overwhelmingly humanity is a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like I looked up the guy Paul, I looked up this guy Paul Haggis, and I'm like, all right, dude. He was the main guy who stayed in Scientology up till the end and like fucking said that he gave donations of like $25,000 to fucking Scientology. He like I skipped to the end, and he was in it for like up until 2009. Like his daughters, apparently he found out that he found out that his daughters were gay, and then found out that Scientology wasn't woke and was like, I can't allow this. You know, they've done a lot of bad things, but they will not say mean things about my 2 gay daughters.
Well, it showed you a lot of instances of like them coming between people and their family, which I can understand you not wanting to like, if they're like, hey, you can't talk to your parents anymore. I'm like, but like, you can't talk to your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to get between a parent and their kid. Like, and if you do, you should kill those people.
I mean, I've always been into like North Korea is a huge subject that I'm.
Oh, I love North Korea.
I mean, I've read so many books on it and stuff. And even like I'm really into this movie Dogtooth, and it's about a family that is a cult that like misteaches its kids and creates like completely brainwashed people, which is a great movie. But like those cults, like North Korea, which is like a statewide cult, they do the same thing as Scientology. They disappear entire families. They fucking put people in work camps, fucking stadiums filled with people in work camps. They do concentration camps. They do all this shit at such a high bureaucratic level that I guess the reason I was never like so like, I don't know, crazy about Scientology, learning about it. I'm like, they're doing such small potatoes shit compared to that.
Yeah. Where would you rather go to camp, in China or Korea?
No, neither. I would go in Scientology. At least I get it for my career.
That's another thing. I was telling Kevin. I was like, even the fucking mafia is running this place, because if it's being ran by the people I'm seeing, it just all you need is one person to go around and start slapping everybody in the fucking face.
Here's the thing: like, how come the mafia didn't infiltrate this?
Yeah,
it makes no sense why the mob is not like.
No, but it makes no sense that they're able to keep control and power. Who's enforcing this shit? Because everybody in it looks like a bunch of fucking cucks.
That is, yeah. Well, apparently,
you know, like the guy who's like the president, he's 5'3", and then Tom Cruise is like 5'7". So Tom Cruise loves him because he's shorter than Tom.
So you're saying that Scientology is filled with short kings?
Yes, I told Kevin. I go, this is the church of short fucking guys.
I'm surprised that I never got. I'm surprised that I never got mixed up with Scientology.
I honestly, it's not too late, John. If you really want to take grading animals to the next level,
I always felt like making a Scientology joke went out of style before Trump became president.
That's true.
Well, it got beat to death, and what Kevin doesn't know. I don't know if you remember this. South Park hit them hard because fucking Isaac Hayes. They did an episode which I showed Kevin a clip where Tom Cruise. What happens is Kyle Broflovsky or Stan. He decides to trick everybody and say that he's the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. So Tom Cruise shows up to his house and he's like, hey, are you impressed? Have I done a good job? And he's like, yeah, you're all right. He's like, but you're no fucking Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is he also in Scientology?
No, but he made Tom Cruise, who's like they show in the film, is like the super advocate.
Yeah.
Not that great. So Tom Cruise hides inside of Stan's closet. And the whole episode is that Tom Cruise refuses to leave Stan's closet. So the whole episode is, come on, Tom, get out of the closet, Tom. We all want you out here.
Nice. Yeah, we're just taking.
So they did that episode, and Isaac Hayes was a Scientologist, and he played Chef.
This is going back like 15 years of.
This is 15 years ago.
I forgot about this.
Isaac Hayes, who played Chef on South Park, he saw them make fun of everybody, the Jews, the Catholics, everyone. They did this episode making fun of Scientology, and Isaac Hayes resigned. He refused to keep going, Chef from South Park. So they killed him off on this awesome episode where they totally expose Scientology. So I strongly recommend everybody watch that.
I do remember that episode now. I forgot about the one before it with Tom Cruise, but I do remember the one with Chef, and like they make him die this really horrible death. And also,
yes, they rip his face off.
Yeah, and there's a moment, right? Like he's already dead, and they're just playing like broken audio of
Yes, I told Kevin that because he resigned from the show, so they're piecing together old audio of him from it because he's obviously
they're making like the cyborg like talk himself in circles, and at the same time they make him he's shitting himself. He's shitting entire giant logs out of himself. It was such a brutally like visceral way of killing a character.
That was a callback because Cartman said that when people die they shit themselves, and they were like, that's not true, and that was like an episode or two before, and then he's like, see, and he shit himself.
Yeah, the golden age of comedy.
Man, you got to give it up for Trey Parker and Matt Stone, man. They're really
For sure, dude.
That's some ballsy shit, bro. They take everybody on, man.
Maybe we should do South Park next episode.
I'd love to. That's my favorite show of all time.
Because I'm such a novice. Like I've seen some episodes with Josh. I've seen like maybe 10 episodes of South Park.
Yeah.
You know, and each one I've seen has made me laugh to the like, holy shit, these guys are fucking funny.
You know what's really funny that I didn't tell you guys? I got cast in a like a episodic thing where I play a cult member.
Really?
Yes. So I'll be playing a cult member.
That's
and it's produced by one of the Jerky
Bravo,
Boys.
Josh.
Thank
you. You got cast in something. This is great. This is great news. Kevin, you're not going to give him any love on the show?
I mean, I will, but you're doing
we should just give him such love. That's great, Josh. That's so great.
It was right there. I could feel hate in his heart. I knew right there that would be the end of his start. I knew right there my man had flipped on me. I had to think about it for a second. How I'm gonna go get up on he.
Yo, can I say that one, I love that it doesn't matter what situation Josh in, he's gonna come up with some rap lyrics. From the 80s to 90s. It's just gonna happen. Doesn't matter how it happens, but it's gonna happen. Yo, the credit you do have to give Scientology, the Church of Scientology, is they got some bad bitches in there.
You think so?
That's one of the only
ride or die bitches, you mean?
No, good looking women, man.
Some pieces, bro.
Okay.
I'm talking about some like, even though they're old,
and ride or die. A hot girl who's ride or die. That's a 15.
Yeah, they had a lot of hot chicks that were ride or die. Bro.
You're talking about Spanky?
I'm talking all of them, bro.
Your girl's a 10. These chicks is a 15 piece.
Even the old ones, I was like, yo, she's kind of cute.
That's crazy. Maybe that's how they entice.
Spanky was one of the worst looking ones.
Nah, even L. Ron Hubbard's original wife, who found out that he was a fucking bullshit artist, she was hot. Kevin thought she looked like Camera Thief Girl a little
bit. Wait a minute, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know how I missed that. I mean, maybe it's because they kept flashing pictures of L. Ron Hubbard's horrible, disgusting face every 2 seconds, and I was just like, let me be listening to the show and be on somewhere else.
Can I say that, like, I have pretty nice bottom teeth, right? And the way he talks for some reason, it's like his lips go like, and you can see everything.
L. Ron Hubbard looks like the guy who was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off at the end, Jeffrey Joseph, I think. You know this actor I'm talking about? He was actually in a lot of 80s movies. He was actually
the blonde hair?
Yes. He always plays the same character, like a teacher who's going to get the students for doing something wrong. You know what I'm talking about?
He was the asshole in a lot of the films.
Yeah. That actor looks like L. Ron Hubbard, and that actor is also a convicted sex offender. Yeah, it's true.
L. Ron Hubbard looks like he could turn a pink pussy brown.
What is that? What's happening there? He can shit. What he can do is he can shit inside of a pink pussy. And
and you see his teeth? He looks like he was sucking on a tobacco leaf.
That's true. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Do you think that's what it is? Like he was?
Yeah, it was like a pipe or a cigar. That was. Ugh.
You don't think that he like never brushed his teeth because he was a weird psychopath that like had probably other weird shit that he did? Like, you know what's weird? Like, I just imagine like that fucking disgusting boat that all those stupid lost hippies are on. And like that thing you must have been able to smell from like a mile down the ocean, because that must have been like such a
There's one thing that we so over fucking drawn. I think this is probably the biggest, most impressive part of the Scientology legacy. They fucking went to war with the IRS.
Yes. And made them say uncle. That is
and won. They were happy. They were happy to give up $1 billion something after going to war with them. That to me, honestly, that's the greatest war battle ever won.
I do think it would be cool to use David Muscovich. Is that his name? David Muscovich's like powers for good. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could use like fight Scientology against like the woke
Catholic
army
Church
and have them all battle it out in front of you? Because before the woke came in, Scientology were the ultimate cancelers. They started.
Yes, Kevin.
They canceled everybody before canceling and getting people blackballed. But now it's like they're not really doing anything.
They are. Me and Kevin were talking about it. They are the birthers of cancel culture.
Well, you know what's crazy is they called their documents to cancel people PC papers.
Yes, PC
and I was like,
papers.
holy shit!
Yes.
And what they did was they took their old tweets, which was their confessional tapes, and they fucking came back and, hey, remember 2003 when you were like, and I was like, holy shit.
Yep.
They got the exact same thing. Exactly.
But anyway, they did something.
I
think
wouldn't give
they had
John Travolta's file.
But hold on, they had 2,200 lawsuits open against the IRS. And they had and they weren't just like frivolous bullshit lawsuits. They were ones with like substantiated evidence that could, without a shadow of a doubt, prove the abuses they were doing. And this was a time that they were running, they had fucking articles being published into different papers. Like, these people were fucking brilliant.
Now, how cool? Brilliant, man. How cool would it have been if, like, in 1987, Scientology pivoted and connected with the cartels?
That's what I was telling Kevin.
I don't know. Well, the reason why you don't do shit like that is the only reason why is because you can't control the cartel. You can't control the mob.
Yeah. The other thing is that I think the cartel is a much, much more powerful like organization than Scientology. Wouldn't you say?
No.
You don't think so? You think Scientology versus the cartel, Scientology would win? I think
what cartel are you talking about, first of all?
Any of the cartels from the TV shows Narcos.
Anything. Let me tell you something. Pound for pound, Scientology can go up against a good majority of cartels.
You think, Kevin?
Because I'll tell you why. Because they know how to use. They not because they're tough guys. They're fucking pussies. If they had to fight one-on-one, they would get their asses kicked. They'd be holding their fucking feet in monitors and shit. But they know how to play the system. They know how to use the United States to their advantage. So they would just use.
They have a place in Mexico.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm sure they're friendly, and I'm sure they play along their rules.
Mm-hmm. And if they took listen, let me tell you something. Tomorrow, if the United States really wanted to, cartel be done. If we really wanted to, Mexico be ours tomorrow. It's not that hard. It's really not. We don't do it because it looks bad amongst the rest of the world, but like it's not. It won't. It'd be a piece of cake.
Kevin's talking for the Dominican Republic, of course.
No, I never heard that perspective. Really, I never heard that.
You know, the Dominican Republic was planning to take over Mexico.
Amazing. I never heard that the cartel was a bunch of pussies, Kevin.
No one said that, John.
No one said that. Hey, listen, I'm not yes-anding that one. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Wow, this is news to me.
You said that, John. Why would you say that?
I'm just repeating what Kevin inferred with his
patriotic
theories about who's gonna beat who.
Well, I'm saying our army, our military could destroy the cartel tomorrow.
I would never say that. I would never make such a heinous claim like that.
No, everything is used for the benefit, and Scientology exists also.
I'll stand by it, but also if anything happens to me, if I die, I die. But this needs to be like on every site. the military will destroy the cartel, and then it'll happen.
That's the title of the episode, by the way. That's the title of this episode.
Kevin Sanchez says.
And I'm gonna make that every YouTube search category.
And the link tree goes to Kevin's YouTube, his Facebook, and his Instagram.
And if you guys are willing to have my death on your heads, so be it.
Well, you know, if we did that,
I was gonna say
like, if we did that, we'd be like every other Scientologist out there.
I was gonna say we could put the GPS on Kevin, but he lives in my fucking apartment.
By the way, the apartment is in. Say it, buddy.
Josh, what
I can't see what you're doing. Hold on.
Let's do it again, Kevin. I'll do it with you. The apartment is in
Forest Hills.
Oh.
Oh my God. I didn't know
you want to come from me?
Let's all, the three of it, guys. Let's all do it. The apartment is in
Forest Hills.
On the Kaplan's house, somewhere in Long Island, in that
actually,
fucking
would be really
shithole
cool.
of an island.
What would be really cool is if Josh reached into his asshole in his box, and then we see a hand coming into Kevin's screen, pulling Kevin out. Yeah, that's a funny idea.
Well, I would just like to say this in conclusion.
You want to cut the episode off half an hour in? You're done with the podcast?
Well, I just want to give one conclusion.
Okay.
As the Jews, we'd like to just say we told you so.
What? Oh.
Yo,
I'm surprised.
you know what?
I mean, are you surprised that like they have just $3 billion to fuck with? And that's what we know they have.
Oh, of Scientology?
No.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Before we get to the money. David Mischief. I don't know his last name.
David Mischief, yes.
David Mischief.
That's his superhero name.
That's his villain name.
Wow. You know, Kevin, every day I'm at my table, like racking my brain of thinking of something funny that I could come up with based on an animal. And you just stumble into David Mischief.
I know it's Miscarriage. But like
Miscarriage. David Mischief? That's what you do with David Miscarriage.
This is
David Miscarriage.
He definitely killed L. Ron, right?
Kevin was a mischievous miscarriage.
Whoa, that's a great theory, and that makes it more of a story. David Miscarriage killed L. Ron Hubbard, or LRH.
He definitely killed LRH, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't that hard to kill him. It was one of the points where like you could just like put your hand over his face.
Like his
dude was good.
I mean, because David definitely is a Mamba guy. Like he's definitely one of those guys that's like, I need to take over some shit. You know,
I heard what happened was David was like, "Yo, we gotta revamp fucking Scientology. I want to brush those bottom row of teeth."
When I saw David Miscarriage, that's
Mascara.
the French pronunciation. When I saw David Miscarriage, I was like, this guy is what the next Trump is going to be like. Not like a goofy, but like he's like, he has his fucking plan set and he's going to fucking fool everybody.
Well, let me tell you something. David Malkovich is not fooling anybody. He's a short dude with a little bit of an anger problem.
He fooled everybody he had his run.
No, they're blackmailing people. They got their fucking religion is you go inside there, they sit down, they're like, all right, hold these two things and tell the truth. And no matter what, nobody knows how to make these things tell the truth. They had the guy who has that television show, Chicago PD. He's like, I went in there, they started asking me questions. I was like, yeah, I jerked off once to a fucking zebra. And then they were like, if you leave, we're going to tell people you jerked off to a zebra.
That guy I felt bad for the moment he came on screen. I mean, a lot of people.
That guy's great. I like that guy.
Like
I love almost everybody, by the way.
Everybody who was like, yeah, I was a moron for 17 years. Like Paul Haggis is like such a fucking snooty upper class dickhead. He's like, I was in Scientology, but I've created persona where even if you think I'm a stupid moron who was in this thing for 5 years, I have a way of just wearing glasses and talking like I'm not a stupid asshole.
Well, I gotta say, you know, glasses do not make the man.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good.
He definitely had to have like Dave Miscarriage.
Miscarriage. David Miscarriage.
He made Scientology in his own image, and that's
Yeah.
all. And
It's like he was the king of a small country called Scientology.
Right.
Like, when you're king, you can rule however you want because you can do whatever with these fucking idiots who have no self-worth, that they're just going to give everything
Right.
away to.
But again, we bring this back to God. Don't make any grievous images.
Well, here's what's different. Here's what's different.
Idol worship.
Is that, like, when I watch this documentary, I'm like, oh, the part where I can't get completely connected to that spirit is I don't have like church people or church allegiance in my background the way some of these people do. Like, there is, like, remember, like, one thing about this documentary I don't even think it mentions is that, like, Scientology happened 100 years before Scientology, and it was called the Church of Latter-day Saints, when a guy went out west and just made up a fake religion in the middle of nowhere and just
really?
Yeah, I mean,
really, you don't believe in the special magical pants and the discs and all that bullshit?
I mean, it, like, when you look at stuff from the 70s and 60s and 50s and you see people in their ridiculous suits, it's like it might as well be the 1800s. It's like a fucking completely different world with, like, everything they thought was just so bonkers.
Yeah, well, you know, once again, people are fucking idiots over time, and we always think we're getting smarter with every generation. We're always morons. But one of my favorite things from the movie is when they reach, because you have to get to a certain level. So after you pay thousands and thousands of dollars, then you find out the ultimate secret. The ultimate secret is that there was a guy named Xenu on a planet, and they soaked up all the people, and they put them and they froze them and they put them on a spaceship, and then they dropped them on Earth inside of the volcanoes.
You know what's funny about how uncreative L. Ron Hubbard's actual science fiction is? He's like, all right.
And then they drop nukes on it.
He's like, all right, imagine it's 1 billion years ago, but it's exactly like now, okay? Exactly like now.
Yes.
And then they go and it's science fiction, and then they transport us to now, but it's now again. So it's like there's no inventing any part. They're like, it's now, volcanoes, time travel, and it's now again.
Well,
right, but wait, let's give them. I mean, you guys don't have to join Scientology to know what the ending is. So they take all these people who they pulled off of a planet, and Xenu, this evil emperor, drops their frozen bodies into volcanoes on Earth, and then they drop nuclear bombs on top of those volcanoes, and then they blow up, and the souls of these bodies are now trapped on Earth. And every time one of us is born, one or several or thousands of Thetans enter our bodies.
I know, it is pretty wild. It is.
They enter our bodies. And we need to get rid of them, and that's what Scientology is for.
You know what's funny? Even the earliest.
By the way, I'm sorry. Did they ever say that these guys did anything wrong? It was just that, like, these Thetans, it was just an overpopulation problem. They weren't bad people.
They were prisoners. They were people of Thetan. They were POT.
They were like, it was like from another world where he was like, dude, we can't sustain what's going on right now.
It's actually it's cosmic racism.
Oh, you froze.
I like that. You like John looked retarded for a second. You were like this.
Hold on a second. I think we're gonna be back in a second. Are we back?
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
All right, cool.
I mean,
no, the Thetan thing. I feel bad for people who I guess had paid zillions of dollars up to that point, and were like, yeah, now we have to believe this shit, and it's not even funny. Oh, now.
Oh shit, he froze again. That's level.
And we're back.
that's level 3, right? There's, I think, 5 more levels. Does it go up to level 8? Does it go up to level 8?
It goes into level 4, and then you can take individual classes based on things that you want to do. Then you can take electives,
Okay.
and then you get picked for a house team, which will run for like probably like 6 months, and then they have a casting again. That's just a little inside baseball from a little cult I like to call the New York improv scene, which I was legitimately a member of from.
Oh man, just
2000
realized how much that shit fucking is parallel to each other.
Yeah.
Well-
I mean, Josh never was, but I feel like I was definitely in it. I definitely was a true believer. I definitely got something out of it, and I definitely left the organization and had to disconnect from people.
Yeah, no, I was right on the fringes of it, and I mocked it at every second that I had, and they hated me, and I loved it. But I did something very similar to becoming one of these Scientologists. So part of their methodology was you were supposed to connect to traumatic events or things that had happened in your life that cause emotional disturbance inside of yourself. And for about a year before my child's mother and I broke up, we explored different venues to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. So I started seeing a therapist who my friend had recommended to me. And this was like an alternative therapist. And what he would do EMDR work, which he would give me either visual stimulation, or he had me hold onto these paddles, and they would buzz. And what it was trying to do was trying to get my eyes to shift from back to forth. Because when someone's in REM sleep, your eyes go back to forth. You ever notice that, John? You've seen that or heard of it before? Someone who's
I've heard of the band REM.
Right. Well, when someone is having REM sleep, you ever seen like a cat or a dog and their eyes are open while they're sleeping? Their eyes go back and forth. Anyway, when you're dreaming,
your friend, who's also a scientist, figured out that if he gives you like a Nintendo controller and makes you
listen. So I would go there and I would tell him all the traumatic things. And listen, I have billions of traumatic things.
Yeah.
And he would have me hold these like paddles, or he'd use like a light board, and he'd be like, all right, tell me how you feel and talk about it and this and that. And I was only doing this because I was trying to appease my ex. And I also had a pretty heavy Percocet addiction at the time. So I would eat a couple of Percocets, and I'd go in there and I'd hold them. And at the end of the thing, he would always tell me, he's like, man, you're really the greatest patient I've ever had. He's like, you're making so much progress. He's like, you're so there and you're making breakthroughs. And
was this friend of yours trying to start his own little like indie?
It wasn't a friend. This is an acclaimed therapist, an acclaimed psychotherapist.
God damn.
So I've been cleared.
Everything is a fucking racket. Don't you find that like
everything's a fucking racket? We're all fucked up in the head. No one can help us except for God and ourselves. So stop searching outside of yourself for help. But if you can't find it outside yourself, reach out to me. My name is Joshua Pallid. You can reach me at Joshua Pallid, and I can help you through this.
Jesus Christ. You know, it's this, the crazy thing is the more we do this show, the more this show becomes light recruitment for Judaism.
What? Well, yeah,
because of you, Josh. Because I'm not going to stop you from speaking your mind.
I like that you're assuming that I'm recruiting people for Judaism.
That's what I said. That's what I assume. I feel like Josh's default mode is to either hopefully make up rap lyrics on the spot, or extol the virtues of Judaism, which is like usually I don't have a problem with, especially on an episode about cults.
Hey, don't talk about Hashem like that.
No, I love. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The best thing about my life is that, like, when the SS shows up, they'll tell me I'm Jewish. They'll be like, no, sir, we don't give a fuck who your parents are. Come with us.
I think in the deepest roots of John's heart, he knows Judaism is the right way, because the way you know that something is right is that the world and everybody hates it. It's that everybody it wants to kill it and destroy it and put it in the ground.
Well, what you did describe is definitely part of my psychological makeup as like a person moving through the world, because like for sure experiences around Judaism and stuff, and like my own relationship to it for sure made me feel like that. But I've kind of abstracted it to a general just being myself experience, you know?
Right.
But like
Okay.
with this thing, like people who come to Scientology, like one of the things, like that one woman who did the boat trip, I'm like, you literally like were a lost soul. Like you wanted to just give away everything. And like the fact that like she had to go see her kids and pick up her kids and like take like bugs out of her kids' eyes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I'm just like, you have no.
She was a beautiful woman when she was a beautiful woman. You know, John, I came up with a way to save Scientology if they want to move forward into the future.
Okay.
I told Kevin, because Kevin's found his Instagram to John Miscarriage.
What?
I was like, hit him. I go to Kevin. I go, send him a DM. Go, hey, it's me, Elron.
Oh, that's cool.
Are you ready for the second revelation now? And then I was like, what we need to do is we need to come up with a story that justifies that ludicrous story that's the point where everybody starts disbelieving.
No,
So then the whole thing is we have to find a way to make that believable. You understand?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we had to put that out there. It was signified for 50 years that we must put that rumor out to see whose brain was actually able and ready to to transgress into the next fucking world.
Do you think, I mean, where that's the one part, I think I finished the documentary. I scrolled to the end, but like everyone's gone underground, right? Like now it's totally underground. Nobody knows what's going on with that.
Underground.
Yeah,
That shit
they
is
don't
fucking.
They
That
don't.
shit's commercial paradise. What are you talking about?
I mean, no, it's not because they're down to 50,000 members.
They're down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of people still, but like, you know,
A lot of people left. Like, you know, I knew that Beck, the wacky indie artist that was mainstream in the 90s, you know, Beck, like, I'm a loser, baby. He grew up in Scientology. He like, I remember seeing things like when I was when Beck first came out and I was like, oh, this guy's interesting. Like he was like a cool weirdo guy. I didn't love his music that much, but like he definitely, when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, obviously like that's something alternative people like, whatever. But I remember like, he was like, yeah, I used to grow up around Scientology and they do a lot of good for the community. And like, this is like what he was saying. And I was like, when I first found out Scientology was like whack, I was like, all right, well, I knew kids who were Moonies. Do you remember Moonies?
I don't know what Moonies is.
Damn, I wish fucking Josh would come back from going to the bathroom or wherever.
Well, give us. I mean, there's
so
some
Moonies. So Moonies were another cult that was around in the 70s.
I remember Moonies.
Yeah, and like
with the bald heads.
Yeah, and there was like several other cult. Like okay, so when I was in high school, there was like, I guess it wasn't Moonies, but there was some type of church that was in Korea that was doing arranged marriages, and a lot of like 70s parents who were like hippies were
like the rising moon or something like that, right?
We're bringing their kids up in this fashion, and I remember,
for mass weddings.
Yes, I remember going to my friend's house in Valley Stream and being like we were like all like, you know, in the 90s, I feel like everyone was like in an arms race to see who was the most indie weirdo. At least that was my the world that I was in. But I remember going to this kid's house and I was like, he's telling me, he's like showing me a picture. He's like, oh, this is the girl I'm going to marry in 2 years. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, you know, like, and then he's like, you know, it's like when you meet a person socially and then like if you find out that they're really religious or something.
16? Oh, is he like 16?
16, yeah, had to be 15, 16. And he was just like, yeah, so I'm in this thing, and he's showing me pictures of like these, you know, they go to a big ballroom and there's like fucking everybody dressed in white suits and shit like that. And it's like, wow, dude.
Let me ask you a question. I'm assuming his parents are involved in this new moon shit.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know him when he turned 18? Did you?
No, that was the last time I ever talked to him.
Fuck, bro.
I was just like, to me, I was just like, this looks like a scary movie. Like I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. This is too crazy. I'm like, here's what I thought.
Hey man, you're white. You don't need to do this.
Yo, the wild thing
he
was
hot,
is
though?
that. What you got, John? What you got,
She
Kevin?
hot? Was the girl he showed you hot?
You know what? Not to me. Not to me. And here's the other thing, is that so I always had this thought. I always had this thought about you know, people who had like personas, but later that became like good artists that I've met. Like I've met so many great artists, like great guitarists and great like people who do different things. And I always like in my life have been jealous of, you know, those who like possess like a better quality than I am, like throughout my life, right? And I remember at this time when I knew this kid, I was like, you know, when you're finding yourself at like, you know, 14, 15, 16, you're not like, you're a little kid, you're still stupid. And I was like, thought that, oh, this kid comes off weird or alternative or something. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe he comes off weird and alternative because like he comes from kind of a fucked up thing, reality that I don't even understand. And I'm like, I'm gonna give him this. I'm like, that's you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you have to. Yeah, it's like what's his name? The poet from the last fucking episode we did.
Oh, Rainer Maria Rilke.
Yeah, man, you gotta like appreciate your circumstances.
Yeah.
That's
You know
They're
what I was
perfect
thinking
for
about?
great.
you.
That's a
Speaking of
great.
Rainer Maria Rilke, I was really upset about not coming up with this. Like this was spirit of the stairway for the whole week since last episode, is that I'm upset that we didn't come up with that. Rainer Maria Rilke is famous for all these letters to this one person, but that the other person who he wrote to is the first ever Stan.
Mm.
And like, if you read all of his letters, it would just be like
Dear
Stan's
Mister,
letters.
I'm too good to be a fucking poet.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was funny. But
Yeah. Well, it didn't work then and didn't work now.
Oh man, L. Ron, bro.
L. Ron
L.
Hubbard.
Ron
Man.
and David
Elron sounds like the name of a
David
dude I know.
Mascara. David Mascara.
Mm.
I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, no, he's like a.
He's like.
Let me ask you this: that dude's dead. Do you think there's another psychopath who could take his place? Is there one lined up?
What are you
Oh,
talking
Does it really need?
Scientology?
it
No,
needs-
I feel like Scientology's time is over.
I think
but
with him.
there are new cults that are being
Well, what
started.
happens to Scientology? It just like slowly dissolves, or it becomes a smaller shell of itself.
I think it'll still vampire its people in quiet. Like, I mean, Church of Latter-day Saints, there are
They're
FLDS.
doing pretty good, I think. LDS.
Yes, but the FLDS, there's these little nodes of like little towns in the middle of like Utah and fucking Arizona and
Right.
Nevada, where they have, it's still like the Wild West. Like they patrol their people and terrorize their people. All of this shit looks the same as like it's either a country called North Korea or it's a town called North Korea or it's somebody's house called North Korea, but it's the movie Dogtooth in every version.
All I can tell you is this: the only cult, supposedly cult, that John would reference it as religiously is Judaism, that comes with no benefits. Once you decide to join us, everybody will hate you. Your life will be in danger. You don't get any type of specific rights. People will say, they will think that you have some sort of privilege, but it's a huge disadvantage. So come join us.
But we will clear the foreskin off your dick.
We may take a small portion of skin, but it's for a very good cause.
I hated they were wearing military outfits. And with like military fucking
Those were Michael Jackson extra outfits from the fucking bad fucking era.
Kevin, that offended you that they had?
I wouldn't say offended. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
What rank would have those guys been, Kevin? What rank would they have been?
What do you mean?
Like if you were looking like what would John Mascara's rank would have been?
Dave Mascara. I mean, he's the sergeant major of the army.
Oh wow.
You
Yeah.
know, like he's
Kevin,
up
can you
there.
tell us about the rankings of the army? Like what's from last to worst, from best to worst? What are they? We don't know.
Well, it depends, right? Because like there's office.
Who would Tom Cruise be? Would he be the USO?
Who would Spanky be?
Let's US.
Do you know all the levels of
I
army?
did at one point, but like if you don't like go over it in your head a lot, it's perishables. It's like a perishable
It's
stuff.
perishable. So
Traitor.
I'll tell you what they are. There's first sergeant, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And also second sergeant, third sergeant, fourth
Yep,
sergeant,
Captain
up to, like,
Crunch.
10, right? No, right. Captains, you do lieutenants.
Right.
You
Confident.
have
There's a confidant.
you have grandmasters, grand dragons. You have
There's third degree black belts.
there's Bowsers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's also bomb arms.
Yep.
There's also bomb arms and hammer turtles.
Yeah. And
So
Turbo Street Fighter 2, 3.
Yes, and Dalsim. There's one with this guy Dalsim.
There's Major Guile. You could be Major Guile.
Yeah, you could also be a sergeant. I forgot about Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant
Yeah,
Slaughter.
you could also be the bushwhackers.
Yep.
You could also be Jake the Snake Roberts. These are all the levels of the army, of Jonathan Kaplan's army.
But it's stuff that you forget, like Kevin said.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just stuff you forget, man. You're spot on though. You're spot on. I even forgot some of those that you
Yeah.
mentioned.
Well, we got some.
We can have some more. We can
You have
talk
some more
more.
medals, John, right?
There's also
How many medals have you won,
Sodium.
John? John, what medals have you won in the war?
Medals?
Yeah, you got a couple medals in the war. I know you got one for a little bit less than valor.
I got a medal for sneaking.
You got a medal.
I'm one of the best sneakers and one of the
He
best.
won. You did. That was a fucking amazing. You did an amazing job.
Thank you. I'm very sneaky.
Yeah. You
Um,
also best
I
best.
also got an award for confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Most people's things they thought I did, and I didn't do, but they thought I would do them anyway, no matter what I did.
Right. I got hiding with honor.
Great. Yes.
Because I didn't hide very well. So like I pretty much put myself out there, but my back was to everybody.
Yeah. I'm good at hiding.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I wish I was small. I wish I would could be like
Shrinking.
That's what L. Ron Hubbard should have done.
Yeah.
He
Shrunk
included-
himself.
He didn't include enough shrinking mythology into his.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard actually those thetan things that people would hold, those were actually also penis bumps.
Yeah, I mean, they do. I did call them dildo holders before,
Yeah.
but it is funny that it is funny that this is the first physical pose that you have to do with Scientology, and that doesn't tip anybody off.
Yeah.
Where it's
Right.
like you're jerking. Yeah, they're like, yeah,
fucking
just hold these
jerk
threads, and
off.
you're gonna feel them. You're gonna feel electricity inside of them, like they're alive.
Right. Don't be gay, because if you do that, you're out.
You can't be in Scientology.
You can only do this while we're checking your thetans.
Yeah.
You
know
think
that-
there's thetan porn?
Look at with the
John.
3. I'll tell you
John.
something. With the 3 faces here, I can see every time you cut Kevin off, and it makes the show funnier. I feel because if you're not watching it for the things we say, but for what is happening, it's like Josh just asserting dominance one time.
Yeah.
I own this
Like,
house.
You just gotta let him
Well,
go.
no. Well, let me tell you something. What happened was not dominance. It was you and I going off on an improv tangent, and Kevin was like, "This is the part of the show I don't like. I don't want to play games with
I
you."
honestly think that Kevin has gotten very good at improv. I think.
First of all, I think Kevin's always been good at it. He just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. But you understand when you finally open yourself up to what is after yes and on the precipice of and, that's when you can finally go clear.
Yeah.
No,
we have too many
honestly,
things
I've been
inside
trying
of him.
so hard right now to think of a name, and I can't remember his fucking name.
Oh, you know what? David Muscovich.
No. I wish it was him.
Is that a piece of straw in your mouth? Where did you even get that from?
You don't need to know these questions. You don't need to know the answer to this. No,
I took a piece of straw from a fucking broomstick.
I was thinking of the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis. I couldn't fucking remember him.
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking remember him. But it's too late now.
Yeah. He's also one of the ranks in the army.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the ranks if you're like good at shrinking. Like if you're
that is true. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that Scientology, I think still, it definitely is the best new cult of the 20th century, I think.
I think its days are finite. I think it's
For
almost
sure.
done with.
It had its day.
Who gets the like the tens of billions they have?
It's gonna self-destruct. There's gonna be lawsuits and all types of shit. Unless, Kevin, you write David Miscarriage, you tell him it's me, L. Ron. I have the answers. It's code alpha beta. Contact me immediately. Send a limo in the morning. I look like a young Dominican man.
Are you there, God? It's me, Elron.
It's me, Kevin Sanchez. Can you get me out of this newspaper?
Dude, I think we could do it. I think we could do it. I think if Josh and I put our minds together, we could fuck.
I think anything can happen. You know, if you were to ask me yesterday if you guys could do it, I would say, hell no. You guys cannot accomplish a single thing you put your mind to. But today, when Kevin suggested the topic, followed through, and brought the topic to the show.
Best episode we've done yet.
Now I believe everything. Believe anything. I believe anything, and that's how I'm going to finally join Scientology, because I can believe anything.
And have some brochures for you.
All that was brought to you in part by Scientology.
It really is the right way.
I've gone clear, and I know what I got to do now.
I actually was thinking about that if we all had our noses were stuffed and we all talked about going queer.
Right. A little at the end of the show, we got clear, and we were like, Scientology.
I got clogged.
All we got to do is sound like my man's who married his adopted daughter.
Woody Allen?
Woody Allen
doesn't sound so clogged. He sounds like more like this. This is the voice that you have to do.
Yes.
Every Jew knows it. Every Jew comes pre-programmed with that voice inside of them.
I don't sound like that.
You mean you can't do a Woody Allen impression like that? Then
of course I can. I'm a Jew.
Every Jew knows how to do this. It's actually born into the posture of our bodies. It comes out. Yeah. Well, listen.
We're all just caricatures of ourselves.
You know, by the way, like I was telling Josh the whole time before we watched this, I'm like, hey, I just can't believe that this guy is like a failed science fiction writer, and he wrote like 100 to 200.
Excuse me, those are religious texts.
Yeah, isn't that?
No, not the indie stuff.
Yes, it is. Everything that he's ever written is now a religious text.
Yeah.
No way. Oh, wow.
Yes way, John. That's part of the lawsuit. Every single text that L. Ron Hubbard wrote is now considered a religious text and is not subject to taxation.
Wow. I mean, the guy really did know how to run a scam. It's incredible.
Don't brush your fucking bottom teeth, folks.
If you learned anything, I could never do it. I could never sacrifice my bottom row of teeth for
me neither.
That type of financial freedom.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. Would you have my man Ron's bottom teeth for $3 billion? That's worth it.
The answer is yes.
You two, the two of you guys, would neglect the bottom half of your mouth and have to live with the taste of it every day for that money.
Well, I'm not allowed to ever brush them?
No, you have to, in order to do this,
I must never touch my bottom teeth again.
Leave the shore of having clean bottom teeth. And far away on the other shore is having a disgusting, smelly, rancid row of fucking, it smells like the sewer, but you have $3 billion.
Oh, fuck.
Let me tell you something right now.
Nah,
you have to lie to yourself every day to be like, yeah, I can deal with this.
But you know what, man? 100 years ago, everybody had smelly bottom teeth, and they still had beautiful women who would fucking have sex with them.
Dude?
So you know what?
You don't think that? I was watching this movie called First Cow. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's a low budget film about these two guys in the 1800s that like moved to like one of the western towns like near Oregon, and
Right.
they're both like ex-criminals, kind of like there are fucking bounty hunters that are looking for them if they like go off too far close to civilization, but
Right.
they're like, we can get away with this shit. So there's only one place in town that they can like sell their wares and stuff, and they decide to go to the neighbors who's like I think he's a commodore, which is a level in the army, in the next town, and he has a cow, and they're going to steal milk from the cow and then go back home and bake goods in the town square. And it actually like starts making them money, but they have to keep going and doing it until the commodore himself comes into the square and is like, these are really good. I want you to come to my house and serve them for like my guests. And they get caught. But in the movie, this is really weird. There's a scene where there's like a market, and like they get toothpaste for the first time, and they're like happy about. They're like, oh, I can't wait to try this. And the way it was pitched, I mean, it was almost like the guy was like pitching a cult. He's like, if you put this on your teeth, they'll be good.
They'll last longer.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even think it was that movie. It was a different movie where from the 1800s where that happened. But I told you about an interesting movie nonetheless. I'm now remembering that doesn't happen in that movie.
Well, I'm glad we added that to the show
money.
tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome. So if you want, the movie is called First Cow. Doesn't include that scene.
Everything makes no sense tonight.
Yo, I gotta say that I don't care if this episode is good, but I'm glad that I came to that conclusion.
John, it's your thetans, dude. It's not your fault, bro.
Man.
I clear this kid, man.
I tell you,
You know the way I'm old school. The way I clear myself is I bust a nut.
Thank you, dude. Yes,
I clear my thetans like 3 times a day.
I think that's the way most people could and should get clear. Yeah.
Just shoot your thetans, man.
I know. Bust your
Josh had a good one where he was like, you know what I would do? I would have people confess to me, and then right as they're getting upset, I'm like, "You getting upset right now? Here's a shot of vodka." And then you keep confessing things, and it's like, have another shot of vodka.
Yo,
I told Kevin that I was going to do the church of church of alcoholism, and that people would tell me their problems in life, and instead of talking them through it, I'd be like, okay, take a shot of vodka.
You know,
How do you feel?
Seeing this documentary years after the peak of Scientology talk made me think like, oh, I missed out on a lot of references of the moment that, you know what I mean? So many people have probably said everything we've said on this podcast 5 years ago, when it was like in the public imagination. But I don't know if you remember, but it just made me think like, I remember when people were making live shows based on any new technology that came out. Like, do you remember like Tinder Tales? Like that was a big across America. Like every stand-up scene had a Tinder or improv scene had a Tinder Tales version of that show where it's like somebody from the audience would be interviewed and tell a story. And then the comedians or the improvers would come up and like riff off of what they said. And it's like, then it's like, I feel like that went out of vogue. But before that, I almost think that like we could have gotten away like during the live show era with like when Scientology was popular, where we do a fake Scientology where we have like 2 tinfoil rolls with a fire and have somebody come up from stage and I pretend to be like giving them the test. And then we do like bits after that, like
and then we just keep. But the way we keep it alive is we just keep giving them shots until like they reveal more and more shit about themselves.
That is a good idea. Maybe when the world opens back up again, we'll do a Scientology show. It'll be retro.
Yeah. Couple. We'll see you guys 2023.
Yeah.
Or we can go to Texas. We'll learn how to do it.
Yeah, or we'll go to Texas.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that has been Wiki After Dark. Kevin, you end the show.
Guys, if you learn anything today, it's that you can start your own cult. And when you do, the key to success is to find very hot, loyal women. They will do anything for you. And this has been Wiki After Dark. Good night.